What's up guys, welcome back to Less Expensive Fix. So today we'll stay working on G35. We're going to tell you what the bad problem on those cars and you have to be careful with it. So today we're going to tell you what reason they go bad and why you have to take care of these cars if you own one 350Z or Infiniti G35 or G37. So the first thing we're talking about, people using cheap gas on those cars. If you use a cheap gas, you're gonna mess up the injection. The problem you mess up injection on those cars, the parts so expensive. You cannot use aftermarket parts. You have to use high quality parts. So the car requires premier gas. You have to do whatever the car requires. You start using cheap gas on those cars, and mess up the fuel pump. This is what happened to me. The previous owner used regular gas. As soon as I buy the car, I'm not driving the car yet, and the fuel pump go bad. The second thing is that the car eats a lot of oil, and the car burn oil from the PCV valve because the V6 engine, that one, use a lot of horsepower, and especially people like adding spacer to the intake manifold and the cold intake, and they add in the straight pipe exhaust from muffler, delays, a lot of stuff like that. So you add more horsepower. So I have to add oil catch can to catch all this oil to the can, and doesn't let the oil go to your intake manifold to the engine, and like that the car start burn oil a lot. So, and the third thing we're gonna talk about too is the mass airflow sensor. Mass airflow sensor on those cars is really bad. It's a common problem, and Nissan Infiniti. And those parts, because people keep using the same filter, the factory one, whatever they do from us, the regular ones, and the filter is dirty, the air doesn't pass enough, and they burn the mass airflow sensor. And the problem with this mass airflow sensor, you cannot buy aftermarket parts. You have to buy OEM parts from the dealer, and the parts is not cheap. The parts is $300 from the dealer. Small piece for $300. Another thing for this car is the rear driver side's bearing hub. The bearing hub for these cars, they go bad a lot because a lot of people draft for the cars and they mess up the bearing hub. And when you take it to the shop, just to change the bearing, you gotta charge you a lot of money. And the problem, you cannot find all time the parts and auto parts stores or whatever. You have to go to the dealer. And the dealer, they charge for each size almost $190. It's better to change the whole sets, because if you take it to the shop, you gotta charge you the same price pretty much. You gotta charge you $150 for labor hours plus the parts. It gotta cost you $200. If you buy the whole parts and do it by yourself, it costs you $190, $200 same time, but you get brand new part, the whole thing brand new. It's not just the bearing. And another problem too on those cars is the ABS sensor. ABS sensor on those cars, they go bad too. So pretty much the ABS for the front or for the rear, all of them have to be taken care of. The light showing up, go get the scan and scan the car and see what's going on. You have to make sure you go to the ABS side to see what's going on. And another problem on those cars too is the valve cover gasket and the valve cover. So the problem in this valve cover gasket, when you want to change the gasket, you don't have a choice to change the place for the spark plug sides. You don't have no choice to change the whole valve cover. If you want to you have different oil inside your spark plugs, you want to change the gasket, you don't have the choice to change the gasket by yourself. So I have to change the whole valve cover. So I call AutoZone, Advance, or whatever, they told me almost 300 something just for each side. The dealership, same thing like that. I go to eBay, I buy for $31 plus tax for sets. It's coming with valve cover gasket that have the driver sides leaking oil, and I find the parts on eBay is $31. Coming with the gasket and everything. It's really cheap, guys. You just have to know how to use your head to find cheap parts. And another problem in those cars is what they call the crankshaft position sensor. They go bad a lot. It's a common problem on Infiniti crankshaft position sensor. Sometimes the car crank and doesn't want to start. You hear the pump is working, everything pump. The last suspect is the crankshaft position sensor or the camshaft position sensor. So guys, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like that we can show you all the tricks for those cars. Yeah, and pretty much too is the seats. I forgot to tell you the seats, guys. Seats are so expensive to have to buy a used one, or maybe a lot of people aftermarket high performance sports. So this is what it is, guys. Thank you for watching, and guys, don't forget to like to the video. Thank you.